Hello everyone, I'm Autobot Sonic the Telltale Gamer, bringing the latest on Telltale games, Transformers, and more. For today's review, we're going to be looking at Transformers Cyberverse Season 1, Episode 14, Siloed. First, I'd like to apologize for the long wait between this review and the last one. As I've said earlier, I've just got back into college, and having to do both Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 and The Walking Dead The Final Season Episode 3 Let's Plays, it took me some time to finally sit down and do this review, but be sure to expect at least one more Cyberverse review every single week from now on until you complete the season. At most, I'll try to get 2 out a week, but if not, definitely 1 a week. So yeah, anyways, we're going to be looking at Transformers Cyberverse Season 1 Episode 14 Siloed, and unfortunately, this episode has fallen once again into the not very good category that recent episodes have taken. This is probably the second worst episode of Cyberverse so far. Yeah, like one of the 3 worst episodes of Cyberverse so far. Just, this episode was really boring. Nothing moved the plot along. It was just a bunch of stupid comedy, and I don't know. It was really, really stupid, so we're going to do everything this episode did right and what it did wrong. So this episode essentially starts with Windblade being tortured, or I guess the more correct word is being probed by Slipstream, Acid Storm, and Thundercracker, who are trying to search for memories for anything that they can find out about where the Autobots are so they can kill them all. Of course, all of them prove to be unsuccessful, so Slipstream orders Acid Storm and Thundercracker to overload Windblade's memory in an attempt to get the memories that they need. The only downside being that it could potentially fry Windblade's brain. But they do it anyway, and Slipstream is on her way to report to both Starscream and Shockwave when the stress from the Acid Storm and Thundercracker overloading Windblade's processor causes her to have another one of those like shockwaves that we saw all the way back in episode 1 of the season, when she sent out one after being overwhelmed with the memories of Megatron from when trying to connect directly to Bumblebee's processor. So she lets out one of these energy waves that knocks all the Seekers out, which gives Windblade enough time to escape and steal some plans from Slipstream's own ship's computer. At this time, Slipstream finally wakes up to call Starscream and Shockwave, and Starscream is furious that obviously that Slipstream has failed countless times in capturing Bumblebee and Windblade and locating the Autobots. So Starscream says that he's coming personally to Earth to deal with Slipstream and get rid of the Autobots himself. But then Shockwave tells Slipstream after Starscream hangs up that while she has failed, that she hasn't been completely useless, as they've discovered that there is a space bridge somewhere that Windblade used to get to Earth, so that all Slipstream needs to do is fix that space bridge so that Shockwave can come over and help them take down the Autobots and find the Ark. So Slipstream is eager to head back to see how the status on Windblade's probing Windblade's memories are, but she discovers that Windblade has already escaped, and after taking down Dirge and Nova Storm outside, Windblade is about to escape on herself before she gets into a fight with Slipstream. Now I gotta say, out of all the bad parts of this episode, this is probably the best part of the episode right here, the fight between Slipstream and Windblade, because of the fact that just like the Windblade and Slipstream fights in this series are really, really good. Like, if we go back to their fight in episode 5, Whiteout, that was a really good fight, and this one is no different. So the fight starts off with Slipstream knocking out Windblade so that she can grab her sword, and as she thinks she's got Windblade being goes to kill her with her own sword, Windblade ends up detaching her, like the jet engine, the propellers on her wings, and ends up using them kind of like small shields that she uses to block all of Slipstream's attacks with and beat her with it. And I think it's really cool to see that while we've seen, yes, that Windblade in the past episodes has been able to use like her engines for ways such as to blow like Thundercracker off a cliff, or actually use them to cut through solid rock. Interesting to see here that she can also use them as shields. So I really appreciate, really like it when Cyberverse shows off like different things Autobot Transformers can do with like different body parts of theirs. So I really appreciate that. So after Windblade defeats Slipstream, she starts to climb out of the silo to free herself, but not before Slipstream grabs onto her, and she's about to fall back down with Slipstream when Bumblebee and Teletran X come to save her by sapping Slipstream with her stinger and pulling Windblade out and knocking Slipstream back into the silo. The two of them escape along with Teletran X, where Windblade reveals that she stole off of Slipstream's own like computer terminal was the location of another Autobot, which, as we know, knowing that the next episode is called King of the Dinosaurs, it's very likely that the Autobot Windblade and Bumblebee are going to be rescuing next is Grimlock. So the three of them all decide to head out and sit and go check out this new Autobot location. Now we're gonna get on to the cons of this episode, and it's just this, aside from the Slipstream fight, nothing happens this whole entire episode. The whole first part of this episode is spent with like this pointless flashback where we see Windblade and Bumblebee playing a game of Cube, and then Slipstream just to me acts so out of character in this episode. Like, we've seen her act as this very tough Seeker commander who's really strict around her subordinates, and then when we see her talking to Starscream and Thunder and Shockwave, yes, they may be higher, but like she acts like a total, like one of those like B villains that like constantly gets thwarted by the hero only to get constantly like reprimanded and threatened by their superior, who ends up being the real main villain of the show. And I don't know, it's just like kind of an insult to Slipstream's character to see her as such this menacing character basically become the Starscream of this show. Slipstream is the Starscream of the show that Starscream is in. It's just, I didn't like it, and like the humor, like when Windblade and Slipstream are throwing insults at each other, it's so stupid. Like, especially with Thundercracker and Nova Storm too. God, like this whole episode, and then even Bumblebee's part and Teletran X's part of this episode. The last episode made it seem as though Bumblebee was going to go on this big rescue to rescue Windblade, but turns out Windblade just practically rescued herself. The only thing Bumblebee helped out with was throwing Slipstream off her so that they could escape, which I don't even think Windblade needed help with. Even if Slipstream did pull Windblade back down, she could beat her again and then just get out, and then she'd probably run into Bumblebee and Teletran X on her way out. So I don't know, it's just, it was really a really bad episode in my opinion. And so, that was my review of Transformers Cyberverse Season 1, Episode 14, Siloed. If I had to rate this episode, I would give it a 5 out of 10. One of the worst episodes of Cyberverse so far. Nothing was really good about this episode except for the Slipstream and Windblade fight. And I notice a pattern that all these episodes that, like, have focused on Windblade, or just like this whole Teletran X or Windblade going kidnapping arc, they have not been good. Sabotage was not good, but that was kind of like an outlier. Teletran X was terrible. Matrix Leadership was alright, but not really good. And then this episode was bad as well. And it just sucks to see that after such a amazing, like mostly amazing first 10 episodes, to see the next 4 episodes be rather mediocre. It's kind of disappointing, and I hope that the rest of this season's second half isn't as boring and formulaic as these last couple episodes are. So that's going to be it for this review. I'll be back soon with episode 15, The King of Dinosaurs. If you like this review, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.